Hey folks, so I wanted to give you a demo on using the sfplay object to play audio files in your sequencers. So let's take a look at our subpatch for sfplay. You can do a lot with sfplay. I'm just going to show you some of the basics of it. We say fsplay tilde, and you'll notice the tilde object in Max indicates that these objects like star tilde are audio objects, right? And so they're working with signal data. They have these yellow and black patch cords coming out of them and or going into them. So this star tilde object just works just like the multiply object for numbers, but it's multiplying signals by a value versus integers or floats by a value. And we can adjust that value. Its default is 0.5. We could change it to 0.2 or 0.32 with a number box 2. And when we multiply a signal by a decimal like 0.5, we're ultimately changing like the amplitude of that signal. So this is a way that we can adjust volume. And I'll show you that in a second. The sfplay here with the 2 means we've got 2 channels. So this is normal stereo audio if we have 2 channels. You can do 1 channel mono audio, or you can do multi-channel, like you could do 8 channels if you've got an 8 channel audio device. I'll show you a few ways we can interact with the objects or get audio files into here. So if I go to open, I can select a sound file. I've got a snare drum file here. It's just a snap. It's an AIF file. Max works really well with AIFF and with WAV files. Does not work so well with MP3 files. So if you have MP3s, you can use iTunes or Audacity or something like that to convert them into WAVs or AIFs. So I'm going to open that, and that's just an open message, the word open in a message. And so now this sfplay object has that file in it or associated with it. Another thing I need to use is this EasyDAC object I showed briefly last time with our beeps. This is a quick way to turn on and off the audio for the patch, and it will play whatever is coming into it. So we can click it to turn it on. When it's blue, it's on, and when it's gray, it's off. Now, over here, you'll also see I have a master volume and power for my patch as well. So, and you'll notice that this is connected to these, and these are all connected to when I use this master one. So even though you might have multiple EasyDACs in multiple patches going, they are all connected to the system audio, so it's either all on or all off. All right, and so then I start and stop my sfplay with a 1 or a 0 message, and my toggle gives me that 1 or 0. And just to show you that really clearly, I'll put this toggle on a message here so we can see on is 1 and it plays and it stops. So I haven't turned this off, but since the track reached the end, it just stops by itself. If I click it again, we'll see it sends a 0. Since the track has already stopped, nothing happens. All right, so another way I can work with that object, if I send it just a 1 from a message, I can keep re-triggering that audio. So that's going to be useful to us. Okay, so then how can we incorporate that into our sequencer over here? We've got our beeps. One thing to watch when you've got multiple audio going to EasyDAC, I like to put a gain on each one because I want to watch this master volume level. When I'm sending multiple sound sources to the EasyDAC, it actually adds them all together. So you can actually build up a very high amplitude quickly that will cause clipping, right? And I don't want to clip like that when it gets up into this area and you hear the distortion. That can be bad for your speakers, so you don't want to do that. It can also be bad for your ears if you're wearing headphones. You really don't want to do that. So I use these volume sliders to make sure that at no point in my patch is the volume going to go over there. that can also let me do things like have a higher volume on one note and a lower volume on another note, if I want to do that. One other thing I'll show you with these is I can put a number box here on its second outlet to see what value I've set that slider for, 105, right? So that's giving me a numeric value of what this slider is doing. So if I like that, right, every time I open this patch, it's going to go back to 0. And that can be kind of annoying because, like, when I go to look at your patch, I have to mess around with volume. I might not have it the way you want it. So is there a way we can, like, hard code that in, right? One of those ways is to do this, to use these star tilde objects instead of the gains. They're doing the same thing. They're reducing the volume of the patch. So I could hard code 0.5 into this in place of this object, then that volume will always be the same, and I can only adjust it then if I give someone the option with one of these number boxes. Another thing I can do, if I like having this UI element, I can add a object called load mess, which is going to send a message when the patch loads. So the first time the patch loads, it sends out this message. So if I like that 105 value, I can put that in there, send this to the inlet of the slider as well. And just to test it, I can also force it by double-clicking it. So I have it set at something, and double-clicking it, it sends it to 105. And that should happen whenever the patch loads. So that's another way I can bake in a default value for this slider, right? This one has it cooked in as an attribute. Slider doesn't, so we can do it with load mess. All right, so now sfplay. So I want to add an sfplay in here. Let's say we're going to do it on our first one here. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. I'm going to turn these down so they don't drive me nuts. And so I do a new sfplay with the tilde, and I want 2-channel audio. And so the bang into the sfplay isn't going to work. It's not going to do me anything, right? It wants a message, and it tells me 0 stops, and an int plays the cue. So I'm going to have a message with 1. That's going to give me the start, and I'm just going to use that snare file too. So I can do a couple different things. I could have that open message, but then every time I load the patch, again, I have to go through and open all my files. That's super, super tedious and irritating. I could have a series of messages like this, where it has the file name in there. That will work as long as the file, the audio file, is saved in the same folder that the patch is saved in. So I could do message open snare.aiff. That was my file. But before I can see if that's actually working right, I've got to plug this in. So I'm going to take this option, click and drag, except I might actually, see now it's going to get tricky because I really want 2 sliders, 1 for each channel, right? So I've got my left and my right, which is going to be a lot of, you could end up having a lot of sliders, which is why these number boxes can be better. So then I'm going to click open that file, and it should, there we go, we got the snare now. Another thing I can do is put that file name as an attribute for my sfplay. And you'll notice as I type in here, it gives me some suggestions like buffer size, number of output channels, I put 2. And then attributes are a bit different because there are specific like variables I can set, but I have to call them out. So I do that with the @ sign. So I can say @audio file snare.aiff. When you're working with Macs, another thing, your file names don't have spaces in your file names. It creates a lot of problems. Just remove them. You can use hyphens or underscores, but do not put spaces in your file names, because remember, Macs uses those to separate elements of a list. So to see if that works, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to save my patch. I'm going to close it. And when I reopen it, we'll see if the load mess worked and if that attribute worked as well. So you can see here I've got my song demo, and my audio files and my patch are going to be in the same folder. That's important because for me to be able to play this, like when you submit it, you need to create an archive, compress this whole folder because I need the audio files, right? Okay, so I deleted the load mess, so we can't test that. We'll see if the snare works though. And it does, right? So this is a super nice way to embed the audio in here because I don't ever have to mess with opening it again, right? As long as you've got files with no spaces and they're all in the right folder structure, that should work. So I think that's it for sfplay. Again, there's other stuff you can do with it, tons of stuff. You can look at the help file for more, but there's options for looping, pausing, playing chunks of a file instead of the whole thing. All kinds of stuff that you can explore with that, changing the rate, changing the direction, etc. But that's a good intro to using sfplay.